topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
Welcome to my radio and TV show, Debi Changes Lives. I'm Debbie, your certified holistic health coach. I revitalize people's lives by helping them identify the root causes of their health issues and create a custom natural holistic strategy to address them in the areas of mind, body, and soul. As a health coach, I'm not allowed to say that I heal, treat, cure, prevent, or diagnose any diseases. I certainly make your body more efficient by reducing symptoms. You'll feel better, be more productive, and enjoy life so much more. And Why Fast is an intermittent fasting program that gets your cells and body humming and in turn boosts your metabolism. It's like any other fasting program out there. And, intermittent fasting will actually help you improve your performance, uplift your mood, and repair your cells. What's different about Why Fast is that it actually helps make your cells hum and boosts your metabolism as well. And it has a program behind it with recipes and exercises. It's full of high-dense nutrition and nutrients. Its components are part of all my programs, and it can be done as a standalone. So you want to get some details on this at my link tree, and also ask about my coaching at https://www.debi, D-E-B-I, changes, C-H-A-N-G-S, lives, lives.com/link tree. I suggest that you use the complimentary consultation to make the appointment to talk to me directly. And you can also use the same link tree to purchase my #1 best-selling Amazon book, Women Rising, which is a collection of many women's transformation stories, including my own. It's a great book for someone that's struggling and wants to see the light of the tunnel. You get a copy for $20 and a signed copy for $25. Once I get your email payment, I'll send the book out to you. Finally, summer's coming up, and do you want to learn how to eat cleanly, toxic-free, release weight with mindset coaching? Then sign up for my Take Your Body Back program. It is a 12-week session where it's going to be mindset coaching, weight release coaching, and you're going to be creating a new version of yourself in an avatar to drive you with emotion and passion to exceed on your health and weight transformation. The first week is onboarding, where I'll be talking about your health, taking your measurements, and then I give you directions of 1 to 2 meal plans that you have choices from, and also directions on how to create that new version of you in an avatar board. The rest of the coaching is the same for group and individual programs. And you'll be celebrating your wins, we'll be looking at gaps, and I will help you through the gaps with health and mindset coaching. My mindset coaching does help you release negative patterns and establish good, healthy habits. And the group coaching is actually fun because you learn from each other. And you can do it as an individual, and the pricing does vary for that. You're welcome to watch my shows, my holistic self-care show, on my show button of my link tree, and set up an appointment to ask me questions directly. And that's where you sign up as well. Now, I want to let you know that I also help people with sports and athletic performance and with nutrition. And I've learned so much about becoming a half marathon runner. I have run for over 9 years, and I've done 7 half marathons, and I run practically every day. And Rebound Effects is one of my favorite products. It's a sports replenisher drink that has over 128 nutrients in it. When you sweat out a nutrient soup. So it's really important for you to replenish completely because it could put wear and tear on your body. This was formulated for Theo Radcliffe, an NBA basketball player who had multiple injuries, and he utilized this during his games. So reach out to me for product at my link tree, either email or in person on the appointment button. Also, we always want the best for our children. And when it comes to going to college and we have a child with natural abilities, scholarships are really a possibility and they come in so handy. My son actually has music abilities and he wanted to do music performance and aerospace engineering degrees. And he applied to 9 universities and got into all 9. And he got scholarships from many. 3 of them were full ride scholarships. And it was such a blessing to have that. One university was actually competing and sending more money. It was kind of funny. So I want your parents to know that your college students can obtain scholarships. And today I have Patty Luu, a sports mental performance coach, whose expertise is a secret tool that a lot of parents and athletes overlook. She aids in securing and maintaining college athletic scholarships from youth up to professional. And she addresses burnout, which is a really big issue. She ensures that athlete scholarship prospects remain strong. We'll be discussing how you can increase your athletes' choices of getting college athletic scholarships to secure their future. So let's welcome Patty Luu, owner of Driven to Peak Performance and a sports mental performance coach. Patty, welcome to the show.
And thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Before we get into our questions, I want to say that this last weekend with the Final Four was pretty exciting. And one player in particular, Caitlin Clark.
Yes, I am a huge fan. Yes.
Yeah. She, there was an interview that she actually told her coach from Iowa that as a freshman that she's going to bring that college to the Final Four. And she did. She brought them to the Final Two. And she actually has won the John Wooden Award twice in the last 2 years. She must have a really strong mindset or someone coaching her, don't you think? She's worth $1.3 million.
Yes. ESPN did include the name of the person she was working with in one of their articles.
Okay. So it's really important to someone to have a sports mental performance coach if they have an athlete that wants to go professional, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And keep them in sports long term. Like parents, they focus on physical skill improvement and winning, but the thing they don't focus on is what they need to focus on. And that's where the sports psychology takes place, to keep them in sports so that the skill improvement, winning, and college athletic scholarships can happen.
Yes, exactly. So what is the secret tool that parents and athletes are not using to create their children's chances of getting that athletic scholarship for college?
Yes, so I mentored them through the process. My secret tool is sports psychology. I have a master's degree in sports psychology. Why do your children need it? They need to avoid burnout. They need to avoid overtraining. They need to avoid injury. These are the 3 common obstacles that are going to prevent them from getting and keeping an athletic scholarship for college. The other aspects are their dedication to the game, trouble focusing on game day, nerves taking over, performance anxiety, having trouble transferring your performance from practice to game day. This is not a comprehensive list. I'm just giving you examples of what I've been seeing lately.
Okay, great. So when it comes to typical sports psychology and performance coaching sessions, what do they include from somebody else? And you're different.
Like, are you asking about the structure of it?
Yes.
Like after the first paying session, the structure is, it's a 1 hour long session. We start off the session by going, how did implementation of the techniques we talked about in previous sessions go? Then we go into how did practice go? How did performance in games go? What do you need to do better in the next practice, in the next game? What mistakes did you make? What do you need to do better in the next game, next practice? What got you in trouble? Was it lack of motivation to put in the work? Was it getting nervous on game day? Was it lack of confidence on game day? Was it trouble focusing on game day? Was it nerves taking over? Was it performance anxiety? Was it having trouble transferring your performance from practice to game day? Was it negative self-talk? Are you not allowing yourself to make mistakes? Because some athletes I work with, after they make that first mistake, they spend the rest of the game beating up themselves for that one mistake and not allowing themselves to play well, or they miss their first few shots and then they stop shooting, and then they tell me they just need to see one go in, and I'm like, you can't see one go in to get going if you stop shooting.
Very true. So you concentrate on basketball or other sports too?
Other sports too. It's just lately the leads have been basketball. I work with um, athletes in all different sports as long as they're willing to pay.
Okay, so baseball, football. Do you do
Yeah.
tennis and all that other stuff too?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. And is there? Well, I'll ask you that later. Okay, so now did you cover you covered that? How do sports parents find about sports psychology and performance coaching? Is it easy to find online?
No. Typically I either do a one-on-one chat with them like we're doing right now. I meet them at a networking event. Then I'm like, let's go do a chat to get to know each other better. And then I explain what I do. And then they're like, I didn't know that existed. Or I go into Facebook group and I answer questions on transferring your performance from practice to game day, lack of motivation, lack of confidence, performance anxiety, having trouble focusing because they're being consumed by attention that they don't need to pay attention to. They're so focused on the pressure of being the star player. They're not focusing on what allowed them to become the star player to begin with and keep on doing those same things.
Okay. So do you have any idea how Caitlin maintained that mental acuity, so to speak, for, while playing?
Yes, I know she works with a person like me in 2023, and I'm pretty sure she continues to work with that person. Like that person is in her corner. Most likely it's before games, a few days before games, and after games, they talk about their performance and how basically playing with expectations, learning to handle those expectations and not allowing the expectations to negatively impact your performance, because success doesn't always do what parents and traditional athletic coaches expect. You would expect success to increase and continue to increase in athletes' confidence, but that's not always the case. Self-doubt can creep in over their abilities to maintain and continue to get better. They start self-doubting themselves and focus on mistakes and what they haven't done versus their success and what allowed them to achieve their success in the first place.
Yeah. And even Caitlin had her ups and downs, I got to admit, but
Yes.
her coach got her through it, that's for sure. And probably her
Yes.
coach, with the university and her own mental.
Yes. And that's where having a great traditional athletic coach also helps, because unfortunately sometimes traditional athletic coaches, they are part of the problem. But in this case, for Caitlin, it was not.
Yeah, that's why she excels so far. I mean, being the best for men and women, that's pretty amazing.
Yes, I mean, yes. I mean, she's got more attention on her than men's basketball got on them.
Yes, exactly. My husband was watching every game.
Yes,
She's amazing, and
yes,
he wasn't so thrilled about the last game, but you know what?
yes, and neither was I.
It happens. It just happens. Okay, what are the three obstacles that prevent athletes from getting and keeping their athletic scholarship for college?
Yes, and this is something parents need to listen up to. The NCAA Division I, Division II, these scholarships are a one-year agreement. Your nightmare is not over after your children get that athletic scholarship. They need to continue to work hard and earn it every year. It is not a 4-year agreement. They need to avoid burnout, overtraining, and injury, because 33% of D1 athletes quit even after they get that athletic scholarship between their sophomore and junior year. Why? Because they get tired of sacrificing the social life. They don't get the social life that the student that students who are not student athletes get to live. They don't get to party and all that stuff. you know their day starts at like 5 a.m. It ends at 9 p.m. and that doesn't include the time you spend on homework. That's just most that's typical of what I see online, like the 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. There are other athletes who told me their schedules vary, but I'm just going by what's typical.
Well, my son has that impact schedule too, but he's doing 2 degrees, and that's why. But
Yes.
yeah, they really need to pay attention to their academics.
Yes. And when it comes to avoiding burnout, I help them avoid burnout, injury, and overtraining with strategies that parents don't know exist and that traditional athletic coaches can't provide because they don't have that educational background. The traditional athletic coaches have been kind of pushed into doing that positive self-talk and encouragement and build their confidence, but the way they do it is very surface level. I take it to the next level when it comes to avoiding burnout, overtraining, and injury. Like by the time they're burnt out, they forget what they love about the game. They forget how good they are. And you have to avoid injury to keep your scholarship, because if you're injured, you can't play anymore, you also lose that scholarship.
Yeah, I didn't realize that because there was a really star football player for in Arizona, in Tucson, and he got a really bad injury. His leg got all twisted up, and I'm like, oh no, he's out. And I didn't think that he would lose a scholarship, so that's something I wasn't aware of either. Now, when it comes to scholarships, I know when it comes to academics and things like that, there's a lot of volunteer hours that you have to do, in the high school years. My son actually did the minimum of 200 hours of volunteers by sophomore, so that wasn't a big deal for them. But a lot of parents don't realize how important those volunteer hours are. Do people that are involved in sports, do they have to do that too?
Yes, that's something I'm not aware of, because when I was in school, I didn't have to do those volunteer hours. So that's a new criteria.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that either. And I was like, oh, well, Check it off. You already had it done.
Yes, because
Really
yes, because that was not a requirement when I was in school.
Yeah, and maybe it's not because they only have it for 1 year. It may not be for for the athletes. I'm not sure.
Mhm.
So we'll just leave it there, right?
Yes.
um, so now you mentioned how the coaching sessions go, but what does Drive Into Peak Performance College Athletic Scholarship Program include?
It basically includes mentoring the children through the parents and their children through the college athletic scholarship process. What makes me different from a recruiting company is that I don't have a database of coaches or connections to coaches. I mentor you through the process from start to finish. And based on what I'm seeing right now, parents and their children are not starting early enough. And also, when you submit your video clips and your statistics, it's not a one and done type thing. You have to continuously update it. And also, even if you hire a recruiting company, you are still required, your children are still required to do some work. It's not, even if you hire a recruiting company, you can't have a all hands off approach and expect the recruiting company. And you also can't expect your traditional high school athletic coaches to do all the work for you. Your children have to put in some work. College coaches love athletes who personally emails them.
Good point.
And there are times they won't respond because they can't respond according to the rules, but they still like that personal touch. So when they can respond, they will.
Okay. Well, some people in my day would send letters. Is that good
Yes,
too?
yes, yes, yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
those were the snail mail days.
Yeah, yeah. Well, but at least I get to know them a little bit when you email. And, once they apply, I'm sure let me ask this question first. They get their video footage from the high school to send to the coaches?
Yes, parents, many parents have the habit of recording their kids when they play games.
Okay. Okay. And then they can create a reel of the best. Do you
Yes,
help them pick the best clips, so to speak, for recruitment?
I haven't done that yet, but I have someone in my network who can help if that is necessary.
Yeah, because you may see some subtle things that would really make them shine. That's what I asked. That
Mhm.
the parents were like, "Oh, I think he was really great," da, 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 da. But there's subtle nuances that makes a player different.
Yes, yes, and also there's also quality. It can't just be like a crappy reel.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, uh, you know, if you have someone reviewing the reel, that's fantastic because it's really important. Maybe get a second opinion too. You look at
Yes,
it, they look at it, you guys discuss it,
yeah.
see what changes needs to be made, maybe give the parents some clue or something better to take, things like that, because that sounds like a very important aspect of your business with the coaching and getting them to achieve that athletic scholarship.
And also behave yourselves. Your children need to behave yourselves. And by that, I mean be careful what you put on social media. Coaches look at your social media accounts. Please don't do something that you're going to regret later that can possibly get you in trouble. And even like all sports parents, when they attend games, you never know who is recording what. So you never want to have something used against you. Always behave.
That's really important. But you know what? Anybody that's getting a scholarship, I'm sure they're looking at everyone's social media account. It's not just a sports coach doing that too.
Yes, yes. I mean, yes, yes.
But one thing that I think the coaches may be looking for is how they handle when something doesn't happen right? Do they get angry? Do they, do a happy
Yes,
dance?
yes.
So is that happy dance against the rules?
What?
The happy dance, like when they make a touchdown and things like that, is that against the rules?
Not
Or
that I'm aware of.
okay.
A
But,
lot of individual athletes have their own dance when they like make a basket, make a touchdown,
uh-huh,
or
yeah. And when it comes to anger management, and you have a potential client with that, what do you do?
I'm like, does getting angry, does getting mad about not getting the call, does beating up yourself with negative self-talk, doing both of those things help your performance? You can't control the refs and what they don't call. You can control yourself. Bad calls happen and it's inevitable. Beating up yourself with negative self-talk over mistakes is not going to help you perform better, but refocusing your attention on the present moment of the game, on the next play, and playing your best for the rest of the game will make up for that mistake. Not dwelling on that mistake for the rest of the game. Does that help you? Does that help your team?
Exactly, because I help people with mindset coaching in a similar way. You need to be more proactive than reactive. And, sometimes it's just self-worth. People are stuck on their self-worth and they need to just release that and realize that anyone can do anything. There's always a possibility. So just don't be so glum when something happens. You just need to release it as fast as you can. And I help my clients recognize when they get in these patterns to, put their hand up so they know to stop doing that. I don't know how you do it, when they realize they're in a moment and how to, shake out of it really fast. What are the type of techniques that you use?
Uh, here's the thing. Body language is important. You never want your opponents to know how frustrated, how mad and angry and upset you are, because when they see that, they'll come after you on the next play to make you even more angry and more frustrated. So that gives them the advantage. I tell my clients, tell yourself, stop. I will make the next basket, or I will make up for it by playing well for the rest of the game. The most important play is not the mistake you made on the previous play. The next play or your next task is the most important, not your mistake. Athletes attach too much importance to their last mistake and don't pay attention to the next play or the next task that they have to do.
That's true. That's true. Because you kind of like animals in nature, it's a sidetrack. They can't pretend like they're hurting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And so otherwise they become somebody's prey.
yeah.
So that's the same philosophy there. But that's really important. That's great, tips for those athletes out there. Um, and what other mental, coaching that that you do that other people don't do?
Well, with overtraining, that's something children nowadays have to be really, really careful about, because right now kids are overplaying more than ever because parents are pushing them. Like, for example, is it necessary to play on 3 sports team for the same sport? Actually, 2 is enough. 1 travel and 1 for school. 3 teams is not necessary, because what happens is you end up missing practices for one of those travel teams you're on. Then on game day, everything is out of sync because you all haven't been practicing together, and it negatively impacts your chances of winning.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. And also being stretched thin like that when it comes to a nutritional standpoint. Like I said, with rebound, it replenishes, your
Mhm.
nutrients when you sweat. you're causing, even though they're young, you're causing wear and tear on your body. There's things that I can help people with different conditions of their health. And you want your athlete to be healthy and be able to live a full professional career. So, stretching out thin like that, choose the sport that you want them to be in and do a travel team, like you said, but don't overdo the number of days of, activity. I don't know if parents do that to keep their children busy, but there's other ways to keep their children busy and
Yeah.
keep them out of trouble, don't you think?
Yes.
Yeah. My son was in Boy Scouts, so that was something that kept him busy.
Yes.
So, and you may want to meet other type of friends that are not sports related too. It gives them a
Yes.
whole big world of
Yeah.
individuals to really, be friends with. And you can invite these people to your games, and they'll root you on. They'll always, cheer you on. So that's something to think about as well. So travel games. So you help people in two different type of arenas like that, don't you?
Yes. So there's the athletes who only play for school, and then there are the athletes who play for school and play travel ball.
Okay. And that gives them a little bit more variety of how the game is played and seeing and learning different type of tricks and abilities and skills, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now, do you you also help them with performance? So, are you giving them some guidance at some things that they may want to do at certain times of the game?
Well, trying to get them to do the sports psych implementation before games is the toughest thing. Yes, you have a routine you do with your team before the game, but I'm trying to emphasize with you that you need to do a routine that includes the techniques we talked about in our session so that you are laser focused, you are zoned in, and eliminate distractions in the game so that you eliminate distractions, you are fully focused when you are warming up, and you don't let whatever is going on in the arena, in the stadium, in the crowd, with your coaches, with your teammates distract you. It's like you're in your own world, preparing yourself to play your best.
Yes, and I work with my clients with that too, especially when it comes to releasing stress and emotions. Because if you have a morning routine that kind of gets you in the zone for your whole entire day, you're going to be more efficient at your morning routine, and you're not going to make all these other mistakes, and you won't be so emotionally involved. And also, you need to wind up the day and wind down from everything else. Deep diaphragmatic breathing, reading some good books, other things that you can do to, writing down your gratitude in your gratitude journal, things like that. And I'm sure that would help, them writing down the comments about the day that happened and what they can do better, or maybe concentrate on more of the positive stuff rather than negative stuff. They can also, writing journals is a great thing. I don't know if you have your
Yes, I include that in my PDF workbook, my one-on-one clients get.
Okay, great. All right. So what is your offer for my audience today?
It's a free strategy call with me. You all can hop on the call and ask me how sports psychology benefits your children in improving their performance and keeping their athletic scholarship. You can also ask me questions related to college athletic scholarships. It's a free strategy call with me.
That's a wonderful strategy call. Can they ask you questions afterwards? I mean, sometimes parents need to wrap their head around this because it's not something they're used to.
Yes, yes.
And so how do you help the parents understand the importance of it?
Well, the hardest thing when it comes to two-parent household is to get both parents on board. Yes, and like you want to increase your children's chances of getting and keeping an athletic scholarship, right? You
Right.
do realize your nightmare is not over even after they sign the dotted line and accept that scholarship. One, they still need to maintain their grades while they attend high school and until they graduate from high school. Two, they need to keep that athletic scholarship after they start college. And what's going to prevent them from keeping it is burnout, overtraining, injury, their dedication to the game, their confidence, their focus, their ability to transfer their performance from practice to game day. They need to learn to manage their thoughts and emotions and have their mental game work for them on game day rather than against them. And for those playing on D1, they have to be prepared to not see as much playing time in their freshman and sophomore year. That's just the norm.
Okay. And you help them throughout college too, right?
Yes.
All that
Yeah,
coaching.
because yes, by the time you get to college, after you get it and accept it, great, but then we need to focus on keeping it.
Yeah. So the parents, we need to be aware of the investment that they're paying throughout high school and college and understand that this is an investment that's going to help their child get into the professional leagues, right?
Yes, getting them to stay in college and play until they graduate, or if they decide to go pro early, they need to, for the whole time they're in college, the focus is keeping that athletic scholarship.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to say before we I go to my closing?
I would like to see parents take more of a prevention approach when it comes to burnout, helping their kids with motivation, confidence, negative self-talk, self-doubt, transferring their performance from practice to game day, performance anxiety, nerves. These are problems that can be prevented before they become problems. If your kids started to work with someone like me before they had these problems, when things were going well, winning does a great job of masking problems that can cause performance to decrease later on.
Yeah. And it's wild to get kids to understand how to, control their emotions too, isn't
Yes,
it?
it's not a quick fix. It's not a quick fix. Parents also like to use me as a quick fix. It's not happening. It's in a perfect world. Yes, it's 2 to 3 months. And then from there, hopefully we can do like twice a month. And just like you use your traditional athletic coach and your personal trainer for your entire career, you have to use me the same way.
Yeah. And with the mindset coaching, it takes a while. I mean, some people, it may take years sometimes, but it's important to just pay attention and be aware. That's the most important thing. You're making your students aware of what they need, right? And make
Yes.
them aware of what's going on so they can catch themselves better. Correct?
Yes, getting them to break their bad habits is the toughest thing. They can say, okay, I will do it, I will do it. And then the parents, when they tell me about their performance in the game, they still haven't break that habit yet. It takes time to break the habits.
And the parents need to understand that too.
Yes.
Like you said, it's not a quick fix because they're just not paying attention. Well, I want to thank you for being on my show, and I want you to stick around because we may have time for some closing remarks. Okay.
Okay. All right.
So I want you to remember that I help you revitalize your health. And yes, I reduce symptoms as well as guide you to a clean, toxic-free diet. Obviously, I correct your gut. And if you want to release weight, that's what I do as well. And all this is going to make your body more efficient. And when you're feeling better, you're going to have a better mood. My mindset coaching will help you release emotions and as well as stress and entanglements from the past. So you're going to have an enhanced mindset as well as a a more efficient body. So pay attention to my programs that you can find on my link tree, which is https://www.debi, DEBI, changes, CHANGES, lives, LIVES.com /linktree, LINKTREE, and set the appointment where you get to know me, I get to know you, and I guide you to optimum health. And part of that website where all this information is are my programs. And I have two programs there when the slide goes next, but I have two programs. One is that Take Your Body Back program, where it will help you with weight release, mindset coaching, as well as create that new version of yourself in an avatar board. And remember, it's 12 weeks, and there is a group and also an individual program. And with all these programs, I start off with a private individual session where we go over your health. I take your measurements, and also, I'll give you a choice of 2 meal plans, and I'll give you directions on one of them, and directions on how to create that new version of yourself in an avatar board that will drive you with emotion and passion to achieve your health and weight transformation. You're going to be so happy that you did this because summer is coming up. Now, Why Fast is that intermittent fasting program that builds your metabolism and everything else that intermittent fasting does, right? And it's unique with high-dense nutrition and nutrients and a program behind it with exercises as well as recipes. I can give you information when you set that appointment, as well as if you need some additional coaching to get your feet wet, I can help you with that as well. And you'll find those programs on my appointment button. Also, you'll find my services. I have 2 Zyto body scans, and I prefer to do the Zyto link because I can actually do these links internationally. Earlier this month, I actually sent out a link to someone in South Africa. And what the Zyto link is a transdermal optical imaging app that I send you a link to your phone, and you'll be scanning your face for 30 seconds. It sees blood flow for functionality, as well as emotional and energetic, and different body systems and lifestyles. And it generates a wellness report, not a diagnosis, of biomarkers out of range and products and services that bring them back into range. And I review it with you because it's quite intensive. You can learn so much from your body. Now, this scan actually costs $50. If you move forward with my services after the review, you get a $25 discount on products or my programs, because my services, I already offer you a group family pack of 5 scans for the price of 4, that you save $50. And people are really amazed what their body tells them once they get these Zyto scans done. So get your Zyto scan now. And for a limited time, I have Debi's Coaching Chats, which is a complimentary 30-minute coaching session in an intimate group setting, and it is not recorded. And so we can cover, a survey picks a topic, and we can cover topics like how to make your body more efficient, optimizing your health, how to release weight efficiently, as well as how to get your hormones harmonized, releasing stress and emotion, and how mindset really helps you to optimize your health and weight transformation, as well as creating that new version of yourself in an avatar board to drive you with emotion and passion to achieve your health and weight transformation. These meetings are on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, and you need to be registered for it at https://bit.ly/bit.ly/Debi. That's DEBI, and it's only the D is capitalized, hyphen, and then coaching with only a capital C and the rest is spelled out. And chats, only the C is capitalized and it's all spelled out. It is plural and it's one word. Once you register, you'll find out what my coaching is all about, and you get to meet me as well. So see you soon. And finally, if you want to learn more about alternative health as well as upcoming promos, events, and upcoming shows, you want to subscribe to my newsletter. And you do that at https://bit.ly/radio TV show, all in lowercase. And as a gift, I give you a 30-day daily health and mindset journal where you can record your gratitude, your thoughts, feelings, and emotions, as well as the foods that you ate, the water you drank, the supplementation you took, and also the exercises you've done on a daily basis. You can also record your measurements. Then you want to use this journal and look at it at a daily, weekly, monthly basis to celebrate your wins and see your gaps to work on. If you need help bridging that gap, then you contact me for coaching. This journal is a great health and mindset awareness tool. And we have some time for closing remarks from Patty. So, Patty, is there anything else you want to say to our audience today?
Yes, when it comes to helping your children transfer their performance from practice to game day, make sure they are working on their weak game-like scenarios when they practice on their own time, because the problem I'm seeing with the clients that I work with, many of them don't like working on their weaknesses, including game-like scenarios they are weak in. Therefore, it remains a weakness. You want that college athletic scholarship, right? Well, work on those weak game-like scenarios when you are outside practicing by yourself. Okay, you're bored, so practicing the game-like scenarios makes it more exciting. And also, to make it more game-like, most kids nowadays have a phone. Find a YouTube video that has a audience attending a sporting event to mimic the crowd noise you all face on game day to make it more game-like, and where you play in hostile environments so that on game day you're already used to it.
To the sound. That's a wonderful, wonderful thing to do. And everyone should work on their weaknesses because they can get stronger, right? So
Yes.
That's wonderful. So I got to say that if you need any products, programs, or services from me, contact me for my services, and contact Patty for her sports mental coaching performances too. We both work with mindset, and everyone can use a tune-up. Don't you agree?
Yes. And the work I do, I can do virtually. I know parents are signing up their kids for summer. Now they know this is an option.
Exactly. And I do my work visually too. So that's something else we have in common. I do meet people in person, but virtual is what I do a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for being on my show, Patty. I really appreciate it. So I want you to, I'm sure you found my show educational, inspiring, and enjoyed it. And I want you to continue enjoying my radio and TV show, Debi Changes Lives, on Thursdays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, where your holistic journey begins.